Hello and welcome guys to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be explaining simple interest. So let's start with defining what is simple interest. So let's say you go to a bank and you invest $500 and it's simple interest, and at a rate of, let's say, 5%, and it's a yearly plan. So every year you get paid. So the way simple interest works is that you have your 500 and we're gonna find how much is 5% of the 500. If you multiply this out, it will give you 25. And this right here is the interest that you will receive every year. So in year 0, this is when you first put in your money, you have $500. In year 1, so after 1 year has passed, you will gain $25. So now you have 525. In year 2, you will again gain another 25. So you will have $550. And so on. So every year you're going to gain $25, and this gaining in money is always constant, always stays the same. We're later going to take compound interest, where the amount of money that you receive changes over the years. Okay, so now how would we calculate simple interest? Well, we have a rule for it. So the interest is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by T. So where P basically is the principal or the original amount you invested, R is the rate of interest. The rate of interest is always a percentage. As you can see here, it's R over 100. Okay, so it's a percentage. And T is the time period in years, months, or days, but we mostly deal with years, to be honest. Now you need to understand that this rule right here will give you the interest, okay, only. It will not give you the new amount of money. So if you want to find the new amount of money, you would have to add the interest received plus the original money you had. Okay? So this example will show you exactly how this works. Let's take a look here. John invests $1,000 into a bank. He earns a yearly simple interest rate of 10%. And after 10 years, how much interest did John receive? Okay, so this right here is P, the original amount. And this is R, 10%. And this those are the years, T. Okay? So in part A, the question is asking about the interest that Joan received. So we're going to go ahead and write the rule for interest. So we have interest is equal to P R over 100 multiplied by T. Okay? So P is 1,000. And okay, so about R, so we're not going to put 10%, obviously. We're going to put 10 over 100. This is the way to put it, because there's already 100, so there's no point putting this percentage. And multiply this by 10. And you can just go ahead and plug this on a calculator. It'll give you 1,000. So this is actually the interest that he receives over the period of 10 years. So during 10 years, he's going to receive $1,000. Per year, that would be $100. Now, part B. How much money does John have in his bank account? Okay. So we want the total amount of money. So basically, as I said previously, so the interest he receives is $1,000, okay? And when he first invested, he had already $1,000. So the total will be 1,000, which is the original, plus another 1,000. This is the interest received. So we get $2,000. This is the total amount of money he has after 10 years. Okay, I hope this made sense. So it's really important to understand. So you have some terms here and there. So the interest, firstly, there's interest and there is interest rate. It's really important to understand the difference. Interest is measured in money. It's a number that's basically an amount of money. So when I ask you how much interest did you receive, I'm expecting an answer that's an amount of money basically. So like over 10 years, for example, here John received $1,000. Okay. The interest rate is not an amount of money, it's a percentage. Okay. In this case, it was 10%. Okay. So this is the interest rate and this is the interest. It's really important to understand the difference between them. And don't forget always to find the total money that I have after a number of years. I add the original amount plus the interest that I received. Okay. Now let's take a look at some examples. So let's see, a person deposits $1,000 in a savings account that earns simple interest at a rate of 5% per year. How much interest will they earn in 2 years? Okay. So firstly, this is the original amount we invested, and this is the rate. So R is equal to specifically 5, and how much interest will they earn in 2 years? So this is T, and the question is asking for the interest earned. Okay, so we're just going to use the rule. So I is equal to 1,000. This is P multiplied by 5 over 100, because the rule says R over 100, and multiplied by T, which is 2. This is T. Okay, so you can go ahead and just plug this whole thing in your calculator. We get that the interest received over 2 years is $100. Okay, this is it for this question. Okay, let's take a look here. So Emily invests $2,500 in a bond that pays simple interest at an annual rate of 4%. Okay. After 3 years, how much total money will Emily have in her account? Okay, so again, this right here, this is the original amount. This is P. Sorry, why did I write R? This right here is R. R is equal to 4. And 3 years, this is T. So the question is asking for the total money that Emily will have. Well, I know that the total money is equal to the original amount, which I know, by the way. It's 2,500 plus the interest received. And this is what I don't know. I don't know the interest. So we're going to need to go ahead and find the interest using I is equal to P R over 100 T. Okay. So the interest is as follows. So P is 2,500. R is 4%. So 4 over 100. And T is 3. All right. And you can just go ahead and plug this on your calculator. 2,500 multiplied by 4 over 100 and multiplied by 3. So we get interest is equal to $300. So the amount of money she receives over the period of 3 years, 300. So the total money that she will have is equal to the original, which is 2,500 plus 300. And we get $2,800. Okay, this is the total money she has. That's it. Okay. Question 3. A loan of $5,000 is taken out at an annual simple interest rate of 6%. This is P, and this right here is R, is equal to 6. If the interest gained over the entire loan period is 1,800, how many years was the loan for? So we're being asked for how many years. This is T, unknown. Okay, so let's take a look here. So what the question actually gave me here is the interest gained. Okay, so I'm told that I gained $1,800 in interest. Okay, so this is I. So I is equal to 1,800. And we know that P is equal to 5,000 and that R is equal to 6. So we can easily find T using the rule. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say interest is equal to PRT and plug in our numbers. So 1,800. I forgot this is over 100 right here. 1,800 multiplied by 5,000 multiplied by 6 over 100 multiplied by T. Okay, so now we need to solve this. The easiest thing to do is at first multiply out those two numbers. So you go ahead and plug on your calculator 5,000 multiplied by 6 over 100. It will give you 300. So now we know 300T is equal to 1,800. And we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 300. So this cancels out and we get T is equal to 2 zeros, 18 over 3 is 6. Okay, so 6 years. So over the period of 6 years, I gained $1,800 in interest. Okay, so now let's take a look at some exercises. As usual, I would highly recommend that you pause the video and try to solve it on your own before and then check the solution. So let's see here. Jean borrowed $800 at a simple interest rate of 7% per year. How much interest does he owe after 1.5 years? Okay, so this is B. R is equal to 7. And how much interest does he owe after 1.5 years? This is T. And we're being asked for the interest. So I is unknown. This is the straightforward question. You can just say I is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by T. And while I is unknown, so P is 800 and R is 7 over 100 and T is 1.5. Okay, so now I can just go ahead and plug this on the calculator. This gives you 84. Okay, so $84. This is the how much interest I would receive over 1.5 years. Okay, second question. Lisa invests $4,000 in a simple interest account that pays 5% per year. So this is the original amount and we're getting paid at 5%. So R is equal to 5. If she withdraws her investment after 3 years, how much interest has she earned and what is the total amount she will receive? Okay, so it's two things that we're being asked for in this question. Firstly, 3 years, this is the time. Okay, this is the time period. Now, we know that after 3 years, she will withdraw all her money, basically, all the investment with the gains. So we're being asked, firstly, how much interest did she earn? And what is the total amount she will receive after withdrawing her money? So we're going to go ahead and firstly find the interest. We know P, we know R, we know T, so we can easily find I. So I is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by T. So I is going to be 4,000 multiplied by 5 over 100 and 3. You can just go ahead and plug those numbers on your calculator. We get 600. So this is the interest received over the investment period, which is 3 years. Okay, so this is it for the first part of the question. We found the interest. Now, what is the total amount she would receive? If I withdraw all my money, the question is how much money do I have? Well, the total amount or the total money will be basically the original that I had, which was 4,000. This is what she originally invested, plus 600. This is the interest received, okay, over the period of 3 years. So $4,600. This is the total amount she will receive. I hope this question was clear. Okay, so question 3. A businessman took out a loan of $10,000 at a simple interest rate of 8% per year. So again, so R is equal to 8 and P is equal to 10,000. After how many years will the interest amount to 4,800? Okay, so the question is asking me after how many years. So we're being asked about T. Will the interest amount to 4,800? So this right here, this is I. This is the interest. So we're being asked that how many years will it take so that the interest reaches 4,800. So we're just going to go ahead and solve this with the rule again. So I is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by T. And interest is equal to, so P is 10,000 and R is 8 over 100 multiplied by T. Okay. So I'm sorry, I forgot the interest. We know the interest. So this right here is I. So it's 4,800. Now, the easiest way to do this would be to multiply those two numbers out. So go ahead and plug on your calculator 10,000 multiplied by 8%. And we get 800T is equal to 4,800. And now we're just going to divide through by 800. So again, you just plug on your calculator and this cancels out, and this divided by this T is equal to 6 years. So it will take me 6 years for the interest to amount to $4,800. Moving on. Okay, so Sarah invested $12,000 in a savings account that pays simple interest. So this is the original amount invested. After 4 years, the total amount in her account is 14,880. Okay. This is the time period that passed, and this is the total amount. Okay. So now we're being asked, what is the annual interest rate? So we want to know R. Okay. Now, so we only have one rule for finding the interest, really, that connects these variables. So interest is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by the time. Now let's take a look here. Here's how you think about this. So we know T, okay? So this, we know it. And we know P, but we don't know R and we don't know I either for now. So the thing is, you need to know 3 variables in order to be solving for one, really. Now, here's the thing. R is what the question is asking for, so I'm supposed to not know it anyways. But the interest, we have to find it. Now, how would I find the interest? It would be very wrong to go and just plug 14,880 right here. This is just wrong. because 14,880 is not the interest. It's the total money I have, okay, after 4 years. So how would I know the interest? Well, it would be by subtracting. So I would go ahead and say the interest is going to be 14,880 minus 12,000, and we get 2,880. Okay. If you remember, if you want to work this on the rule, if you remember the rule was total amount is equal to the original plus interest. So we know the total is 14,880 equals to the original being 12,000 and plus the interest, I. So in order to find I, you would be subtracting 14,880 minus 12,000. And you will get 2,880, okay? So you can either do it by the rule, or if you understand it, you can get it relatively quickly using just subtracting the new amount. So anyways, now we know the interest. So be careful. A common mistake is to plug in 14,880. You need to understand this is not interest. It's the total amount. Now we know the total interest, so we know this variable as well. So now we can solve for R. So the interest is 2,880 equals to P being 12,000 R over 100, and T is 4. Okay. Now, how would we solve this? Well, I'm going to first go ahead and multiply 4 by 12,000, and this will give us 48,000. And we can see a possibility here. We can divide 48,000 divided by 100. So what's going to happen is this is going to give you 480. You can either do this on your calculator by dividing 48,000 over 100, or simply cancel out those two zeros with each other, and you'll get 480. R is equal to 2,880. And now we're going to divide through both sides by 480. I will erase this. Okay. And you can go ahead and plug on your calculator 2,880 divided by 480. We get 6. So R is equal to 6. So what is the annual interest rate? Like I said before at the very beginning of the lesson, the interest rate is always given as a percentage. So the interest rate is equal to 6%. Okay? It's always given as a percentage. I hope this was clear. Okay. David borrowed $15,000 from a bank to buy a car. After 3 years, he repaid the loan in full. Okay. Including $2,700 in interest. What is the annual simple interest rate? So here we're being asked about the rate again. We want R. We know that the original amount is P. Now, this isn't the original amount invested. This is the original amount taken as a loan. But in the end, it works as being just the original amount, okay? And after 3 years, this is a time period, okay? And the total interest that he had to repay was this number right here. This is the interest, okay? So this question is similar to the previous one. However, in this case, they didn't tell you the total amount. They directly gave you the interest, which makes it even easier. So I can just go ahead and write out the rule. So I is equal to P multiplied by R over 100 multiplied by T, which is 3. I'm sorry, I plugged it in instantly. I just want to write the rule right now. Okay. So the interest is 2,700 and P is 15,000 and R is unknown. We want to solve for it. And T is 3. Okay, so again, like the previous time, you can just go ahead and plug 15,000 multiplied by 3 Or instead, you can go on your calculator and just plug entirely like this, 15,000 multiplied by 3 over 100. This entire expression, if you want to do it faster, okay? Right now, I'm just going to do it step by step. So 15,000 by 3 is going to give us 45,000 multiplied by r over 100. So again, like we said, you can divide 45,000 by the 100 right here. So those two zeros cancels out. So we get 450r is equal to 2,700. So now we're going to divide through by 450. And we get that r is equal to 6 again, actually. So the interest rate, like we said, we always give it as a percentage. So 6%. Okay. So this is it for simple interest. Okay. I hope it was clear, and thank you for watching.